Plenty of frames have great crowd control in Warframe. There is a lot of options for you to choose from, whereas other Warframes excel at DPS. And because of this, there will probably always be a frame or a build that maybe outperforms the one that you might be currently using. So you will hear players saying this a lot. They will say, why bring that frame when you can bring this frame instead, because it is better. It's, I guess, a personal choice or favorites. It's okay to like a Warframe regardless of how good it is or how good other players think it might be. But every game of course has to have its weak characters, especially when the core gameplay elements are constantly changing or evolving beyond the usefulness of a certain Warframe's abilities. I think poor old train boy Vauban with his big clown feet is definitely one of those frames that it seems the game has kind of passed him by. He was one of the least used Warframes of 2018 by a long shot. He is of course the engineer themed Warframe, or the trapper. He also has a really good crowd control that will perform great on some mission types, but on the flip side of that, he will slow down other game modes to almost a snail's pace, which will cause players in a public setting, not so much with friends, but in a public setting, to leave as soon as they can because they want those missions to be completed a lot faster. Now, he does bring minimal DPS. His mines feel a little bit pointless, and of course his Teslas are the same. Most players will run their Vauban for Bastille or for Vortex, but like I said, you will be told a lot by other players that other frames can do everything that Vauban does, only better, and they're not lying. Against Infested as an enemy type, he is great, but against anything that shoots, you need to be very careful. His Bastille doesn't stop bullets, and of course his mines are just simply bad. Same goes for his balls as well. He needs his balls removed. Now, if you're new enough to Warframe, then this might sound a little bit crazy, but there was a time when there would be a Vauban in nearly every second mission that you joined. The reason for this is we had less destructive weapons or abilities back then, and killing high level enemies was a little bit harder as well. Kinda sounds like back in my day. Right now in game we have weapons that can 2-shot or even 1-shot level 160 heavies, so some of that older tech has become redundant because of this. Satura, the Dark Sector infested defense mission on Pluto, used to be the go-to leveling spot, and you would see Vauban on this nearly all the damn time. But the game of course has moved on from then, and now it's more about DPS than crowd control. Similar to what I said in my previous Nyx video, right now the kind of mentality is the best crowd control is dead enemies. So why slow enemies down or why slow missions down when you can just kill everything in sight? But there is a lifeline if you enjoy running with Vauban. It has been hinted at that Vauban will or might be getting a proper rework, hopefully sometime this year, maybe not. How do you fix a problem like Vauban? Last year he got absolutely shafted with those changes, like the ability to charge up his balls before actually throwing them. It was really weak, it was crap. It was seen as a bit of a rework, but not really, and it was easily one of the worst set of changes that any frame has gotten in a long while. But there have been some incredible rework ideas coming from the Warframe community, those Vauban users in particular, as to how you could change his kit. And if Pablo takes the reins for this rework, then who knows how good it might be. You only have to look at Neja to see the difference in before and after and how good he is now. But with Vauban being an engineer, there is loads of you out there who will already have mentioned maybe giving him some form of drones similar to the Corpus Ospreys instead of having those mines or grenades. So remove the tripwire, concussion, shred and bounce mines, the ability to rotate between those, and give him Osprey drones instead. I mean, what good is the bounce mine anyway? Do any of you actually use that? They would be probably more beneficial than what you have right now with the previous mines or grenades. However, some of these drones you can already craft as spectres, so there is that argument as well. Now, some players have suggested the possibility of giving Vauban a turret to deploy, which would effectively turn him into Vauban, and it would give him an attacking power instead of what he has now, which is just all out crowd control. Other rework ideas have gone as far as asking for him to be giving the same nullifier bubble devices that Corpus have, which will allow him to better defend objectives, but that might also make Poor Frost redundant. And those bubbles that you have, the nullifier ones, if it was on your Vauban, It would also reduce in size whenever it got shot, which would be no fun whatsoever. It might constantly be getting popped at higher levels, which would mean you'd be constantly casting it, unless maybe it scaled with power strength and it allowed it to absorb more damage. Now, I can't see that happening. Personally, I would love to see him getting some kind of attack-minded ability on top of keeping his Bastille, whether it was the turret, the attack drones, or something completely different. Imagine an exalted shotgun or a massive spanner that you could just run around bonking enemies with. Not sure we need more exalted abilities, probably don't, but maybe an exalted train where Vauban climbs inside his own helmet and then you can ride him around and run enemies over while constantly blowing your own whistle. And yes, I know some of you's going to comment on blowing your own whistle, just save it. Whatever we say we would like to see changed with Vauban or not, I guess is pretty irrelevant. It is all just wishing. If he gets a rework, hopefully it will bring him into line with some of the frames we all love and use right now, but only time will tell what exactly might happen or what exactly might change. I think some of his abilities need to be completely removed and we need different ones added in. I don't think they need to kind of rework the ones he has right now, but he is an engineer, or his original codename was Trapper, so maybe some kind of better traps, definitely some form of DPS, but the game has plenty of corpus abilities that the developers could build around and alter in order to fit onto Vauban. But let me know what you think of Vauban in the comment section below. If you use him, if he is one of your go-to frames. If not, what you like or what you dislike about him. Do me a huge favour and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, or don't if you didn't. Subscribe for more Warframe, and as always, thanks so much for watching.